Well, hello everybody and welcome to the stream this afternoon. Hopefully everyone is well, whoever's watching this, but I'm hoping that a few will watch the replay anyway. So, where am I this afternoon? Well, I'm on Walney Island, which is in the northeast of England. It's actually a nature reserve. But I'm playing Dovetail Games Flight Sim World, so it's the first time I've actually streamed this. I have had a play on this sim a few times, and I haven't done too much because normally I'm playing FSX Steam Edition. So we're going to give Flight Sim World a go this afternoon, and I'm flying the Piper Cherokee, which is one of the default aircraft in Flight Sim World. Flight Sim World is an early access program, which basically means there's lots of updates coming. There's been a few already, and things are improving quite a lot as time is passing by. So everything on here is basically default. There's no add-ons or anything yet. Or there might be some, I'm not sure actually. There's certainly not too many add-ons for Flight Sim World yet, so everything that I've got is just what comes in the default game. So I'm going to take off from Walney Island, and I'm going to have a little fly around the Lake District. I've never been to the Lake District before, so this is my opportunity to have a look. Anyway, here's the interior of the cockpit. The default aircraft in Flight Sim World are very, very nice, certainly better than the default aircraft in FSX. Basically everything is modelled, and I certainly like the Piper Cherokee. I have flown the Piper Cherokee in real a few times, so I sort of remember what it's like inside, and this is certainly very, very good modelling. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off here. Let's just get rid of, we can get rid of the control yokes and turn on a few lights that we need to go on, like so, and here's the flaps down here, so we can, looks a bit like a handbrake, doesn't it? So we can set the flaps to take off, put the control yokes back and we'll go for it. So here we are, taking off from Walney Island. Just going to takeoff speed, and up we go. So at the minute we're taking off towards the south, so we're going to have to turn, head back in a northerly direction towards the hills of the Lake District. So flaps can come in again. Make sure I've made that lever go in the right way. So I'm going to climb up to about 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet, something like that. So we can see some hills in the background there, generally heading towards the Lake District. As I say, never ever visited the Lake District before, but furthest I've been north is Blackpool, which actually isn't too far away from here. Hi Kevin, hi Graham, hi Graham. I'm Kevin, aren't I? Trust you're alright, Graham? So, just looking at the default scenery. The default scenery is very, very nice. It's basically Orbex global scenery. It's not photographic, but it's far more pleasant to look at than the default FSX scenery, that's for sure. So when I say it's not actually photographic, what happens is, if it's a desert, then it renders the actual the tiles for desert scenery or textures, and if it's woodland, it's going to be woodland textures, etc., etc. But they are very, very good. Orbex, of course, is well known for its scenery. So this will come as default in Flight Sim World, which is definitely a plus. As I say, the game is early access, so you know, it's not the finished product. So there's going to be lots of updates coming, and people are looking forward to what the updates are actually going to be. Early access programs certainly get people involved because they can put their views in, so to speak, and basically say how they think the program is coming along. So we're at just over 2,000 feet now. Oh, hello Peter. Nice to see you as well. Trust everything's alright in the UK. I've been, well, how long have I been now? I've been here a week now in Germany. A week has certainly flown by. What I like about this is you can actually feel a little bit of turbulence, which is good. And being that this is a 64-bit program, there's not going to be any memory issues, or there shouldn't be, and you get little effects like if you look at the airspeed indicator, you can see the needle vibrating around there. Little things like that, which have been yeah, you know what I mean. Which really make the program come alive. A few people are saying that the scenery looks a little bit washed out, but I'm not really sure about that. I'm used to the scenery being a little bit more vibrant with colours and stuff, but probably that's not really what it is like in real. Most of the time when you take off, go up to about 2,000 or 3,000 feet, you do get this sort of haze, and not actually fog, but a sort of a haze effect, which is what you get in here. Certainly if we look straight down, then things are looking pretty good, pretty clear. As soon as we come up, we start to see that little bit of haze. And the colours are a little bit washed out, but I wouldn't say that's particularly a bad thing. Let's zoom back out. Too far. Okay, so we're coming up to the first lake here. Which is going to be it's the big one, isn't it? So it's going to be Windermere, I think, which is one of the big ones, Lake Windermere. Yeah, the cockpit graphics are really nice, Peter, in this, and there's not very many planes at the moment. There's a lot more planes in FSX as a default program, but the planes themselves are really great quality. And if all of the planes that are developed for this are the same quality, that's going to be really great. Everything's really crisp and clear, isn't it, inside the cockpit? I think there are a few bugs on some of the planes, but certainly not anything too serious. Now I'm wondering if I have a feeling I've gone too far west, and I have a feeling this might be Lake Coniston by the look of it. I did have one little fly over this area, and I don't think that is Windermere below us. Anybody an expert on the Lake District here? What do you reckon? Is that Windermere? Or is that Lake Coniston? Can anybody tell? I have a feeling that Windermere is over here, so I'm going to bank to the right. Let's see if we can find Windermere. So no autopilot for me today. I'm going to try and fly the thing manually, although it does come with an autopilot. Being used to flying the jets in Flight Simulator. Got islands in it. Yeah, you're right, Peter. And that was what making me think that was Coniston. So I think this is Windermere coming up. In fact, let's go back down a little bit towards the south, then run all the way up Windermere. Good job we got somebody on the stream who knows about the lie of the land. Of course, Coniston was the bit of water that sadly Donald Campbell did his attempt for the well, he already had it, didn't he, for the water speed record, and sadly had that terrible crash. That was at Coniston that we've just left back in the 60s. I think now that this is Windermere. Yeah, this has got to be it, isn't it? Looks like an island ahead, Peter, so I think this is Windermere, and it certainly starts just before the hill, so to speak, doesn't it? So lots of flight sim programs about at the moment, and you know, there's always a sort of a battle going on between all the developers, really trying to get everyone's attention. Anybody that's really into flight simming will probably end up getting most of the programs anyway. But for anybody starting out, it is a bit of a minefield, really. But certainly, seeing as this, you know, what I'm showing you now is actually default, I really think this is pretty good. And being, as I say, being a 64-bit program is great as well. I don't know if anyone remembers when I used to flick, or when I do flick between views with FSX. Sometimes it's not very smooth, and it takes a little while for the for the screen to actually materialise. I think that's probably due to the fact that the program is 32-bit. Of course, 64-bit program that this is, it can utilise all the memory. So memory issues should be a thing of the past. Okay, Peter. Yeah. I guess you need to be in a plane, don't you, to know? But quite right about the island, because we've just flown over it. So I think the only other one I know really, or have heard of, or learnt a little bit about, is Ullswater, which is off to my right, isn't it? I've got a little bit of a map here so I can have a look on that. Ullswater. Yeah, Ullswater would be off to the right. So things are going to start to get a little bit interesting now as I fly into the hills. Hopefully not into the hills, but fly above the hills, hopefully. It's got air traffic control on here as well. It works very, very similar to FSX, although the menus look completely different.
Manchester Centre, Piper, Golf, Bravo, Romeo, Golf, India is type Piper, 20 miles northeast of Echo, Golf, November, Lima. Request right follow. Piper, Golf, Bravo, Romeo, Golf, India, Manchester Centre, Squawk 5153.
Okay.
5153, Piper, Romeo, Golf, India. Piper, Romeo, Golf, India, radar contact 20 miles northeast of Echo, Golf, November, Lima, 200, altimeter 2992.
So there's the air traffic control saying very, very similar things to what the air traffic control says in FSX, but with a definite English accent, well, in fact Scottish accent by the sound of it. Well, not too far away from Scotland. So I guess this actually suits flying around this area. I ought to have contacted them earlier really, but I'm probably going to learn to like the air traffic control on the air, because I don't mind it on FSX. A lot of people don't like air traffic control at all on their flight simulation, so they don't actually use it. But I think it adds something. So yeah, the scenery does look the default scenery does look very good. As I say, it's not photorealistic, so you're not going to see every little building as it should be. It's just an impression of what the scenery is like here. Of course, the lakes and everything else, and the roads should be in the right position, railways, and the hills. Some people do like photo scenery, and I use some photo scenery for FSX, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. What happens with the photo scenery quite often, it looks great when you're really high up. As soon as you get to low altitude, then it looks very, very blurry. Whereas this, it looks pretty clear if you're at low altitude or high altitude. It really does. This game is available on Steam. I can't remember the price now. It's certainly not that expensive, I don't think. As I say, lots of flight simulators about at the moment, and I was looking at one yesterday called Aerofly FS2, and that one is actually based on real scenery, but it's only got coverage of part of USA, maybe Switzerland as well. I'm not sure, maybe Switzerland is an add-on, so it doesn't come with, you know, vast area covered, whereas here all of the world is covered with this Orbex global scenery, just like this. So you can fly anywhere in the world and you will get this sort of effect with the scenery. So certainly quite good, or very good actually. There's another lake ahead. Yeah, I did have the pleasure of flying this Piper Cherokee, not this particular one, but a Piper Cherokee a couple of times from Bristol. I think it's 3 years ago I did it for the first time, and probably about 18 months, 2 years the second time, and that was great. Really enjoyed it. They call it a flying lesson, but it's basically an introduction to flying. Well, it was a lot of fun. As soon as I'm flying a simulator, I can do all sorts of bad things, can't I? I can descend and do things I shouldn't be doing. Doesn't come with any jet aircraft though yet, Flight Sim World. It's all general aviation prop stuff. But everyone's been assured that jet aircraft will eventually come. So when you start to lose altitude, you still get good resolution on this scenery. It's very good. Textures are good. Oh, a little boat out there, look. A couple of boats. Oh. To be honest, I think there's a place for a lot of different simulators. I don't want to get too low. Ooh. A place for a lot of different flight simulators, and depending on what you want to do. As far as flying jets are concerned, then I'm not going to give up my FSX, because I've got lots of add-ons for that, and it's got lots of airliners built in. But for general sort of VFR flying with pretty good scenery as it comes as default, I think this is really good. Okay, Graham. Well, there's another one dead ahead. The only other one I know that's sort of in a straight line from Windermere is it Derwent? as well. Derwent Water, or Derwent, or no, that's in the Peak District, isn't it? Not sure. Hold on. I would tell you because I've got this little map here, but I haven't got my reading glasses on, so I can hardly read what's on this little map. So I guess if we head or do a right turn, we should probably find Ullswater, because I know Ullswater is a pretty big one. Yeah, so we have got some nice areas as well, Sylvia, haven't we, in the UK? Trouble is, Lake District is a long way away from where I'm positioned in the UK, so let's have a little right turn and go and have an explore over here behind this hill. Wonder what the weather's like in England at the moment. It's beautiful here today. Got sunshine in. It's quite warm again. Hasn't been that warm though. It's been a little bit cold for a few days. So we're gonna head sort of east, climb up, give it some power, see if we can climb up over these hills. Really doing crazy things in a Piper Cherokee here. Oh, sorry, it's from me. I haven't got the air traffic control quite loud enough, I don't think. Overcasting Corsham, huh?
Roger. Altimeter 2.
So that looks really good. Seeing as we're so low, and that scenery does look good. Really does look well focused. The other thing that could happen as well with scenery in FSX, you could get this blurry effect where the scenery would take a long time to actually focus in. Now that's been virtually eliminated, I think, in this program because it's 64-bit, so you don't get that effect too often. Passed off again. Manchester Centre. Wet and miserable where you are, Peter. Oh dear. Well, we found some more water down here, look. So is this going to be, although that doesn't look particularly big, so I don't think that's Ullswater down there. Scaring the sheep here. Perhaps that's Ullswater down there.
Piper, Lima, Charlie, Victor, contact, approach on 129.525.
Ah, there's a big one here. I think this is Ullswater. It's got to be. Or has it? I don't know. It's easy to get lost. So what we'll do, we'll take a little fly over this one, and then I'm going to head out towards the sea, and I can then track down back to Walney Island. Oh no, hang about, we're completely... No, this isn't what I'm thinking of at all. In fact, just looking at the compass headings now. No, I'm not where I thought I was at all. I'm not where I thought I was at all. In fact, I've just done a complete circle. I think we've been over this one, because that's looking out to the west, so you can see the sea in the distance. Oh well, we'll give Ullswater a miss. We'll visit Ullswater another day. Got no GPS on board this Piper. A lot of the default aircraft come with a nice GPS, so you can actually see where you're going. And I'm not using any nav aids like VORs or anything like that, so I'm just basically flying around visual. So we'll head over this way. We'll head west towards the open sea. Maybe track over the mountains a little bit. So there is a lot of you look on the forums for the flight simulators, and there's a lot of not ill feeling. You know what it's like when people like a certain program, and they're into this, they're into that, and some people prefer a certain type of program. And anything that's early access, it's not finished anyway, so it's not going to maybe have exactly what people want. But my criteria for simulator, I'm not the most technical person in the world. I just like it to be immersive. Okay, Peter. Okay, about the lake you think that could have been. I just like it to be immersive, and if I can get really into it, I think it's a good simulator. And I can definitely get into this one, that's for sure. Of course, the more that technology improves with all this stuff, the more everyone compares it with something else. So you know, you're comparing it with another one, and maybe a certain program is better in a certain way, and but I think you've got to give them all a chance. I think they're all very good. But it seems to be the thing now that a lot of these programs are being released not finished. They're early access programs, giving the user a chance to have a go with them, and basically say what they think. Probably say what they want. And I think that helps the developers anyway. Look at that needle bouncing about on the airspeed, I love that. Although this, let's say, this isn't photo scenery, but if you look at the detail on some of the buildings down there, it is absolutely amazing. Small little lake down there. So I'm going to climb above these hills now, hopefully. I wonder if that was Durban water, I don't know. You know, I should... maybe I should have learnt my geography a bit better before I did this flight. Of course, what's the highest? Is it Scaffer Fell? It's the well-known peak near here. I think there's lots of smaller lakes here. Not so well known. That's the bigger ones, obviously. But anyway, we definitely found Coniston water, and we definitely found Windermere. The jaw is still out about where else I was. Of course, we've got a lovely lake in Corsham, Graham, haven't we? Not huge, but it's oh, I'm overspeeding here. Look at that. Ah, it's amazing. When the plane overspeeds, it actually shudders and buffets, and you get these. And that's pretty well modelled, isn't it? I was overspeeding. Yeah, Corsham Lake's very, very nice. Oh, that's a big one, quite a big one. So we'll just head out.
X-ray, Lima, contact, approach on 135.9.
Head out towards the sea, and then we'll head south back towards Walney Island, or Walney Island. Some nice textures down there. You certainly don't get that on FSX. Not default. Of course, you can get the add-ons that will do that. You can buy Orbex scenery for FSX, of course, global scenery, and more detailed scenery as well. But to get it as the default, it's quite nice. The only thing I don't see so much with this particular scenery is the built-up areas, the towns. With the FSX scenery, where there's a town or a village, although it's not photo real, you do get quite a big build-up of houses. You still do with this scenery, but not so much. Whether that's I don't think it's an issue really, but I noticed that some of the towns that you're flying over really don't look like big towns, and I guess if you're just doing VFR flying, you're trying to go from one place to the other, that might hinder you a little bit. But for sure, if you're interested in a particular area, as this program gets developed, and third-party developers as well will allow you to actually download their sceneries for this in the future, for sure. And you'll be able to get really detailed scenery for any area that you want.
Piper Juliet Yankee Hotel contact approach on 123.6.
Scaffold Pike. Scaffold Pike, Graham, you're right.
Piper Juliet Yankee Hotel.
But really is an impressive flight sim. As I say, at the moment, one for just flying around in the light aircraft. It's got quite a nice flight planner on it as well. If you are noticing any stutters at all, it's certainly not with the program. It's because I'm using my streaming software on the same PC, and I've noticed with the 64-bit program, it happened in X-Plane as well. It tended to hit the frame rates a little bit, and also I would get a few stutters. I think I said before that all the professional streamers most likely use two computers, one for their game and then one for the actual stream as well, for the streaming software. But I'm just using the same computer, so that's why there are a few stutters here and there for sure. I can see them on my playback actually. I guess it's because the 64-bit program is using more of my allocated memory, and the 32-bit programs like FSX can't do that, so it's leaving a lot of memory over to run the other programs in the background, which is a shame. So I don't know. I just do the streaming for fun anyway, so whether I would get into it so much that I thought I would have to use a different computer for the streaming or not.
Piper Golf Mike Kilo November with you.
Piper Golf Mike Ilo November Manchester Centre Roger Altimeter 2992. Piper Ilo November traffic alert 4 o'clock less than 1 mile 8500 Piper reporting in sight.
So just beyond this hill we should be able to see Walney Island, which is where I set off from. I think the nearest town to city or what have you is Barrow-in-Furness. And as I say, Blackpool is not too far down the coast from there.
Manchester Centre, Roger, altimeter 2992. Piper, Papa, Foxtrot, Papa.
Piper Papa. I just listened to the air traffic control here. It's just it's cracking me up a little bit. It's a bit like that Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper. Lots of papas coming out here. Piper Papa.
500.
Piper Golf X-Ray Quebec Foxtrot Mike Manchester Centre Roger altimeter 2992. Piper Pepper Foxtrot Pepper.
Alright, I'm getting up into the clouds a bit, so I'm going to get below this cloud. The clouds are very good as well. They are all volumetric clouds. And that's been a big update on this simulator as well. They call it, I think they call it True Sky. When the program first came out, it didn't have the this type of clouds. I don't think they were all actually volumetric clouds, but which change as time goes on. So the clouds are very, very realistic as well.
Piper, Quebec, Foxtrot, Mike, traffic in flight.
Okay, so I'm going to be landing shortly. I've got nobody to talk to in the tower here at Walney Island, which I don't think is strictly correct, so the tower is unmanned. But I can sort of say what I'm going to do.
Manchester Center.
I hope you're not getting so many lags as what I'm seeing on my monitor. My little, I've got this little,
Golf Juliet Echo.
well, it's not a laptop. It's like a laptop on a tablet, and it's showing the playback really laggy. But I'm not actually seeing that on my gaming screen. So apologies if you are getting that. Maybe it's just me. Hopefully it's looking reasonably smooth. Oh, the weather's really perking up then, Graham, is it? Indian summer, here we come. Well, just to the right of me is the airfield. So we'll keep at about 2,000 feet for the time being. See what my options are on air traffic control. Nearest airport list I can pick. Walney Island.
Whiskey Tango Yankee Manchester Center. Roger.
Tune traffic on Walney. Select a runway for landing. Or what am I heading here? This is the one I took off on, isn't it? So that'll be runway 170. Announce full stop landing. I'm not hearing me say anything. That's a bit odd. The air traffic control, or the air traffic, or the radio transmission's done a bit funny there, because I shall hear what I'm telling it to say, and I'm not hearing anything. Anyway, I've pressed the appropriate key. So I did set some wind, so we've got some wind coming from the west. So we might have to crab it a little bit as we land. Not strong wind. The weather effects on this as well are superb. The default weather effects are really amazing. The storm effects, very good. So I can see that I'm high, but being high in a light aircraft isn't too much of a problem.
Charlie, Bravo, traffic, Piper, Golf, Echo, India, Papa, Juliet is clear off the runway.
So I'm going to bleed off the speed a little bit now. We can put some flaps out now. You do get a lot more turbulent effects, I notice, with this than FSX. Trying to trim the thing. Yeah, so I'm having to sort of crab out to the right here. Oh, it's a bit windier than what I thought. Been quite a job to too bad. fight with it a little bit. There we got there. Bit of a clunk, but we got there, eh? So here we are, back at Walney Island. Oh, it tells me how many flight hours I've logged. Oh, about 6 hours on this simulator, not too many. So let's clean up, put the flaps up. You can just taxi off the runway. So this won't be an exact replica, if you like, of Walney Island Airport. Of course, all the runways are in the right position and the taxiways, but as I say, there's bound to be lots of add-ons coming for this eventually, for sure. And then we can all download our favourite airports. Oh, good, it's smooth on your iPad. Sorry, Peter, I haven't been looking at the chart. I'm glad it's smooth. I think it's my playback here that's a bit jerky, and it's a pretty smooth program. In fact, when I do it with X-Plane, stream with X-Plane, the frames really drop a lot. X-Plane is 64-bit as well. So, hope you enjoyed my little jaunt over the Lake District. I didn't really know exactly where I was going, and I think while I was looking for, was it Ullswater, I certainly didn't, well, got lost there for sure. So I'm going to pull off here. As I say, all the buttons on the on these default aircraft, or virtually all the buttons, are clickable, and you can start with the cockpit code and dark if you want. Right, okay, so handbrake is here. Put the handbrake on. Ignition is here. Is it? Oh, let's get rid of this because I can't see what I'm doing here. Right, okay. And we can turn some of this lot, these switches off. The master's off. So there we are. Thanks for joining me this afternoon for the flight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun as usual. So see you next time. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next time. I shall have to decide on that. Maybe some train sim. You can have a go in FSX. That's good, Graham. FSX is still great. I can't see any of these programs actually dying. I really can't. I think people have, certainly with FSX, there's so much you can do in the way of add-ons, and people have spent a fortune on their add-ons, so I can't really see that any one program is going to supersede the other. But they all want a share of the market, and they're all very, very good in their own right, that's for sure. So cheers, Graham, cheers, Peter, anyone else watching. We'll see you again pretty soon, and enjoy England. I'm certainly enjoying Germany here in the sunshine. Bye for now.